What's up, Jill?
Hi, Dr. John.
What's up?
My question is staying or leaving the best for me and my kids?
Ooh, man.
And that's, a difficult question for me to ask. This is my second marriage.
Yeah, what got us here?
I don't even know where to go from here. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional.
No, be as emotional as you need to. It's okay.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me what's going on.
I just feel like we go through this complete emotional roller coaster all the time, and I'm so confused. I am so confused. One day my husband is saying that he never wanted to get married, and he wasn't ready, and he did it because I was excited. And then the next, it's, no, I want to work this out. I want we can do better. And I have 4 kids at home. I'm just terrified, and I'm so confused. I can't even make sense of my own emotions anymore. And, maybe it's all me. I don't really know at this point, but I guess then the majority of why I feel this way is because we've been married a little over 2.5 years, and we haven't done a lot as typically what married people would do. We have 2 homes between us. Any financial assistance that I've needed, I've had to, ask for. He has given me gifts, generous gifts and stuff, but it's felt like a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. And
do y'all live in 2 different homes?
Yeah. Yeah, we go back and forth. We have a schedule between us, and we try and make it work the best that we can.
Why do y'all live like that?
Well, I did have these conversations before we were married, and then I've had them throughout the marriage. I have had important and difficult conversations. We did talk about finding a place together, and it just hasn't worked out so far. And
but why haven't one of you just sold your house and moved in with the other person?
I'm actually in a rental. Because my kids have to go to school at this district here where we are, according to my divorce. And, we put numbers on paper and stuff. And
so is this guy that you married, is he just blowing off what y'all agreed to? Because he knew coming into this marriage that you're bound legally to this particular location. And he said, till death do us part, I do.
Yeah, truthfully, I'll be completely honest. I really feel like he has not wanted to be in this marriage.
Yeah, if he's keeping his own house, that's a big sign number one. Do y'all have any shared kids together?
No.
Okay. Is he abusive? Are you safe?
No. Yeah, I'm safe.
Okay.
And that's where I'm stuck. Is he's a very good man.
He's not.
I feel safe with him, but
he's not a good man. He hasn't told you the truth. And he's stringing you along. He might be nice, but he's not telling you the truth. He won't even live with his wife. And he knows that you're bound where you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not a good man. It's not a caring man. I tend to side with him. I think he's telling you the truth, that he didn't want to hurt your feelings and he just went through with it. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I've been in counseling since we were married.
Okay. What is your counselor? Surely your counselor is helping you with this thing, like choosing reality. Here's reality as it sits. This guy doesn't want to be married to you. And I think on certain days he wants to be married to you. Do you get the difference?
Yeah.
Those are the days he's like, no, we're going to work it out. We're going to make this thing happen. Because he sees your tears, or he loves those little kids, or you'll have a night of a rare night of great sex and intimate connection, and he's like, we're going to work this out. And then he just goes back to his place.
Yeah, that is what happens.
My heart's breaking for you, Jill. So he's not on the phone, so I don't want to talk about him too much. Let me ask you, are you clinging to this thing because you can't go through another divorce because you still want to do it again? Like, tell me about what you're feeling, because I don't think you're crazy, and I think that you're not crazy. I think it's easier for you to think that you're crazy than it is for you to, like, when you say things like, I just don't know, I can't trust myself anymore, I think you can. I just think you have a real-time grasp of what it means to actually trust yourself.
Yeah, you're right. I'm terrified. I have 4 little kids. They're, not little, but my decisions affect their life. And I'm terrified to start over.
I know.
I don't know how I'll make it on my own.
I know.
And I don't want to hurt my kids anymore.
I know. Where's their birth dad?
He's here in the same town I'm in, and we actually have a really good relationship to co-parent our kids.
Good. Is he paying child support?
He's very supportive, and we get along great.
Excellent. This is a strange question. What does he think about your new husband?
He's great. He thinks it's strange, but he tries to not meddle in my personal business.
Why'd y'all get divorced?
Seem to, because of me. I primarily was the reason, and so.
Hold on, tell me about that, because I don't believe that. Might have been some of you.
Well, we'd been through pretty much everything you can go through, but I was the one who, I had an emotional affair, and so I.
And you both chose that you couldn't work through an emotional affair after 4 kids?
Yeah, we'd already tried to work through other things.
Okay.
Prior to that, and we have a good friendship.
Okay.
We worked through our stuff, and we co-parent very well. We love our kids.
Okay.
But yeah, it was my fault. It was more my fault.
Okay. Well, I want to separate what you did, have an emotional affair, with a choice to end a marriage. Because you can fall for somebody, you can have deep emotional connection with somebody and all that. And you can also choose to cut that off and to reimagine and rebuild your marriage if you're both in. And so those are 2 separate things. And sometimes they get lumped together. And often emotional affairs come from a place that's co-created too, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I'm telling you. You've got a bunch of hard choices to make up in front of you, and they're going to all come with different ramifications. You're going to choose to stay married, and this won't to a guy that doesn't want to be married to you, and who's nice, who's likes you, just he's kind and all that, but he is not into being married. You're going to do that, and your kids are going to grow up learning that's what love looks like. That's the model of marriage that's going to be imprinted on their nervous system. That dad sometimes gives mom gifts so she can buy groceries. Dad goes to his own place because we're too much for him. That's what they're going to learn. Or you're going to sit down with him and say, if you don't want to be married to me, I need you to call it, because I got 4 little kids. Either you got to move in with me in the next 60 days, or you've got to decide that you're out. But this can't continue like this. And by the way, just moving in is just step 1. We're gonna have to create a new marriage here. And he can say, well, then I'm out. And I want you to remember, you're not all alone. You have a good co-parent and a good friend who's got a vested interest in these 4 wonderful kids of yours. So you're coming home alone every night anyway, with the occasional hookup and the occasional hangout with this other guy. There's going to be some significant financial ramifications, which I get. And your life as you have it right now is going to look very different. You're going to have to go get a job. You're going to have to lean on child support more than you wanted to. You might have to downsize your apartment or your home. All those things, I get that. But here's the thing is there's not an easy path forward. Doing nothing is going to continue to be heavy, heavy, heavy. I'm more worried about Jill standing up really tall and saying, I'm going to take the best path forward for me and for my kids. In light of a husband that doesn't love me and he loves me, but doesn't want to be married to me, has left. He's never even moved in. How does that sound?
Well, that's exactly what I've been thinking. And I guess that's why I posed the question, what's best? Because I, like I said, I do get very confused. Just a few nights ago, it did come to a head. I did say, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. The same patterns just keep repeating themselves. And I know we're both doing the best that we can in some areas, but it's just not working. I can't be in a marriage where my children trigger you. I have good kids, and
your kids trigger him?
Yeah, he struggles with the way I parent, and he's told me he struggles being around my kids. He's nice to them, and they actually like him. But for me as a mom, it just breaks my heart. And
well, of course, if he tells you he doesn't like being around your kids, why did he marry you?
I've asked him that. I've asked him that, and that's when he told me he actually didn't want to get married. But then he does a whole 180. When I finally get to that point that I say, I know it's not just you. We both have a part in this, but I can't do this anymore.
Okay, so what you got to do, here's the deal. You have to be very clear. Okay, you can't just say, I can't do this anymore. This has to be different. You have to say, here's what has to be different, and here's the order. A, you got to move in. B, you and I are going to couples counseling. C, you can never tell me again that you just married me because you don't hurt my feelings. Number 4, my priority is to these 4 kids, and you married into this. And so we have to come up with some ways for my kids not to trigger you, because they can't go through their life knowing in their nervous system that my husband doesn't love them, doesn't want the best for them, that it's annoyed by them, as though they're little dogs running around yapping in the house. Like, you have to be very, very specific, and then you have to have this magical or what statement. You have to have a line in the sand that says, if this isn't happen, then you are opting to end this marriage the same way you opted to be married to me. And here's the thing, Jill. Here's what I want you to practice over the next few weeks. I think you are smart. I think your emotional radars, your alarm systems are right. And so I want you to practice for the next few weeks, not saying things like, I just don't know. I think you do. And I want you to begin to operate from a position of strength, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. I want you to operate from a position of, no, my instincts right now are right. My information is right. This guy is doing X, Y, and Z. He is opting out of this marriage. And so, to take care of me and my kids, here's what this is going to mean. Here's my budget. Here's the conversation I'm going to have with stepdad. With the kid's dad. Here's what kind of work I'm going to have to get. Here's how much money I'm going to have to. All these living in reality kind of things. But I want you to practice. Even when you don't feel like it, I want you to practice like you're operating from a position of strength. Give that a whirl. And then I want you to sit down with your counselor and ask, how do we rebuild the marriage if he chooses in and if he moves within 60 days? Or how do I begin yet another separation with somebody who's opting out of being married to me? But it sounds like those are your 2 paths. And my promise to you is just sitting and ruminating and spinning on either one of those paths is not going to make anything in your home better. It's just going to make it heavier. So just, even if it's an inch, take a step in one of those directions. I'm sorry. This doesn't have a happy ending. It doesn't sound like. I'm sorry. If husband wants to call me, I'd love to talk to him. And I appreciate you being brave here, but husbands live with their wives and their kids, not down the street in their own house. Guys who marry moms with 4 kids don't say things like, your kids are triggering me. They're annoying me. I don't like being around them. Husbands don't give their wives gifts for groceries and car insurance. They pool their money together to create a new life. So he may have walked down the aisle with you, but I don't think in his head he's ever been married to you, Jill. And I think it's time for you to stand up and say, I'm worth more than this.